Hello everyone, this is your friend and host Harry Nakai. We are so happy that you are giving us such a good response. We are getting a lot of questions from you, and again today is Friday and we have Mr. Tushar Bhutani on our show. Welcome, Mr. Tushar.
Thank you, Harry, for having me again.
That's wonderful, and we are getting a lot of questions from our clients, and you are always there on Friday, and there are so many things which are happening right now in the market. What do you think? What is the current situation? What is the current condition of the market?
Market so far, Harry, has been good. September has been okay, and then to begin with, October, yes, we have seen a little fall in sales, and prices haven't gone down. It's too early to say right now what would eventually happen in the fall market, but so far market is good. The fact that interest rates are still low, so we're getting a lot of inquiries. The phone is still ringing. We have been moving our listings fairly quick, so no complaints. It's still busy.
That's wonderful. So, if the market is good. Yeah, busy is good.
Yes.
The thing is, like, the scenario is actually changing. What I can see, because the fall is here. Generally what happens in the market is the fall is the time when the market starts to go down, at least.
That's right.
Is it still the same situation as we talk about the last year?
This year has been different though, Harry, completely. Last year, yes, I mean fall, you would always see the market slowing down a little bit. The fact that, it gets cooler and it's back to school in September, so parents are busy with their kids and their other stuff, their commitments. But this year, after COVID, when the market picked up in May, it has not slowed down a whole lot. We're still seeing good impressive numbers month after month, and compared to what we had back in September of last year, if we were to pull out some stats from last month, we still have had an increase of about 35-36% in sales. Wow. So which is a very, very good number, right? So and again, the average price for all segments of the market, be it single family, condos, duplexes, we've seen an increase pretty much. So this year has been really different. We understand with the second wave coming now, most of the restrictions are coming back in place, and we got to be careful. But at the same time, market right now is showing no signs of slowing down.
So when you talk about condos and townhouses and all these things you just mentioned, so we have one question which has come up from one of our viewers. It is regarding the houses which are less than 300,000, right? So there are so many people looking for houses which they some people are new in the country, some people have just moved in as a student and they are looking for houses now because they've got PR and stuff. So I have some of the people, especially because we do immigration shows as well. So there are some people, those who are watching immigration shows as well as realtor shows and stuff. So this is just, I want to know, are there houses available which is less than 300,000, and if somebody is looking for something like that, what are the availabilities?
Harry, it depends on if you're looking at a brand new or a resale property, and of course what locations. Mostly, yes, under 300K to find something that has no condo fees would be a little tough. It's a little rare product, right, to find something in that price point. But again, as I said, if you're looking for something fairly new, built in the last 5-10 years, most likely it will have a condo fee. However, we can still find some residential attached homes. So you've got triplex, fourplex, say 3, 4, 5 homes attached together, and a lot of that product is coming out in the market now. Builders are slowly realizing the fact that people are not open to paying condo fees anymore. So I see that product is between 290 to about 320, 330. It depends. If you're looking at the middle units, they're as low as about 300, 290, which fairly you can still get it for about a good price point. But if you get into the corner units in that same triplex or fourplex, you could still be a little over what 300K. If that's what your budget is, you could end up at about 310, 320.
So we're talking about the new houses right now?
New houses.
But there are some old properties as well. I've seen the market as it is fluctuating. What people are looking for is more towards the old houses as well as the rental properties. So maybe that condos play a very important role for investors here.
That's right. If you're looking at an older property, yes, I mean, as long as you're okay getting some work done, because older properties would, some of them would be a little, it doesn't show as well as what typically you would find in a brand new home. But yes, if you go 15, 20 years old, 25 years old, if you go in a more central area, yes, you can find properties like about 320, 330, a single family home, or even duplex. The fact is that you have to be prepared, or you have to have contacts with maybe a handyman who you can just recruit, or you can just get them to come by and basically do some work for you to be able to bring the house to a certain current standard to make it worth living into. Or from investment point of view, Harry, as you said, yes, I mean, that's again an opportunity for somebody to flip. You buy something 270, 280, and then of course by the time you put money into it, you can literally make some quick buck out of it, right? If you were to put it back
that's my next question actually, which came across. So when we talk about the investment property, some people like to get the renovation done. Once, do you think that adds the value and then the property value goes up? If somebody is buying an old property, renovating it, maybe for a rental property or maybe for selling for in the market?
Great question, Harry. I guess you've got to be careful though, because if you keep putting money into your home and if you're thinking that you'll be able to recover all that money that you've put in, well, not always. You got to be careful, and that's the reason I always would let my sellers know, my clients know the fact that be careful when you're doing the renovations. I'm not saying cheap out. I'm not saying don't put any work to it, but put money where it will help you sell the house, because a lot of times people would come to me and say, Tushar, I'm planning on just ripping the whole floor out and putting a new flooring, new drywall, new ceiling, and then maybe adding a new deck. You got to be careful. A lot of times when that happens is in a market like this, even though we've had a good market this spring, but this is not going to last, right? Next year we could be in for a tougher time. Again, nobody knows the future, but we'll see. But coming back to that point, you got to be careful with the money that you're putting in. The money that goes into renovations will surely help you in terms of getting the house sold faster, but in terms of getting the dollar value back in your pocket, it's debatable.
Absolutely. So the thing is, like when we talk about the renovation, it totally depends on the area as well, because what I've seen is like somebody has bought an old house, he does the renovation of the house, but in that area the other houses which are sold is less money, right? So people have that notion that this area, the maximum limit of buying a house is maybe 350 or 340, but you are doing a lot of renovation on the property, but you're not getting the money worth it.
Yeah, it's
right?
tough to justify those upgrades that you put in, right? Because you're so right, Harry. A lot of times people would take that $240, $250 a square foot amount into their mind, and they would think, well, why am I going to overpay on a property? Which, yes, I understand it has upgrades or maybe newer finishings, but the whole point comes down to how do you justify it? And at that point, your realtor or whosoever is selling the property for you, they have to basically prepare a whole list of upgrades that you've done, put a number to it as to what really has gone in from a seller's pocket. And as long as you can justify that amount in front of the buyers, whosoever is coming at your house to look at it, as long as you can justify, I'm pretty sure the buyers will be okay paying a decent amount for it.
It totally depends on the individual buyer as well as what kind of property you are selling, right? I've come across one thing that you guys do a lot of open houses. Open houses is like, I think it's a good idea to do open houses because it is attracting a lot of people. So how are open houses actually helping the customers as well as the realtors?
Yeah, pre-COVID, yes, we used to have open house every second weekend, if not every weekend. Open houses is really popular. A lot of realtors in our business, they would tend to do those just to be able to, of course, get to talk to people, and it's more of assurance to the seller that, we're putting in the efforts, we're putting in the work. But you got to be smart about how to go about hosting open houses now with the fact that the COVID restrictions have come in place. Even though it got better initially in the month of August, September, we were seeing less cases, but the fact that we are having another wave, I myself don't feel comfortable right now. But of course, if you go back to pre-COVID, Harry, open house is something that sellers usually think that it really helps them sell the property, and I'm not against it by any means. I'm not saying it doesn't help you sell your house. Surely it does. It's one of the marketing tools that we have got, right, in order to put a word out there in the market saying that we've got this property for sale, so come and in numbers and just look at it. But the fact that what most of the sellers fail to realize is that open houses are done primarily just to get buyers, just to get the leads from the market, right? And it's only going to help the realtor more than the seller. And again, I've done one open house in the last few years wherein I've actually gotten to sell that house through the open house. So it's not as common as what people think, but the whole point is you just got to be smart in terms of how you go about doing an open house. These days we have seen a lot of people out there, a lot of realtors out there, including myself. We have gone about doing some virtual open houses, just so we can adapt to the whole new normal of social distancing and going online, going virtually, right? But open houses, Harry, I would say I'm really not too convinced about it, and I say that to a lot of my seller clients too, that you know what, if you want me to host an open house, I will starve one of my team members, or I will come myself and sit here for a few hours, but trust me, it's not going to help you in any way.
But do you do any kind of advertisement for open houses?
Yes, if we have an open house scheduled on a certain weekend, definitely about 5-6 days or 10 days in advance, we'll start to run our marketing campaign, and we'll just try to put a word out there that we will be at this location between 2 and 4 with our whole team, and if you have any questions, if you want to come by, look at the property, please do. But as I said, you know, open houses, it's a hit and miss. Surely it is, right? And I've had some success in the beginning, but later on I've started to realize a lot depends on the location of your listing. If you're at a main street location where you feel you can get a lot of people to come by putting open house signboards at the front, yes, definitely you'll get people coming in and talking to you about it. But mostly, Harry, what I've also seen is, and I've spoken with my team members and of course with my sellers as well, with these open houses, a lot of the people who would show up, 70 to 80% people who would show up would be your neighbors, right? And they're coming there primarily to check what you've got to offer and what price point you're offering that at.
Yes, because they might be interested in selling their own houses as well.
Exactly. So that's mostly what we've seen. A lot of times people walk in, they spend about 30 minutes with us knowing about the property, but they are in the same neighborhood just down the street and they have no interest in buying the house. I'm not saying it happens all the time, and I'm not trying to demotivate anybody out there who's open to doing open houses, but the fact is it's a hit and miss, and sellers need to know exactly why the open houses are held and what are the pros and cons.
Yeah, but what I think is, like, sometimes like you might find an active buyer because who's coming here to buy a house, that he might be interested in that property, right?
Yes. Open houses, yes. I'm, again, just to recap, right, I'm not against open houses. I'm not saying it doesn't work, it does, but we need to look at both sides of it, right? Open houses would help, but most of the times it does not. And my personal, my professional experience with open houses is that, you know, you got to be smart about how you go about doing it. I'm not saying don't do it, but do it in a way which is more cost effective to you, and you can actually go on to prove to your seller that you've put in efforts and you've actually, you know, got some rewards back for it too.
So do you think that every realtor has a different way of approaching, and every like, you know, when you do open houses, everybody has a different way of marketing or strategy, so that how the house should be listed, going to the social media, talking like on Facebook, Instagram, that this is the place we are doing open houses and stuff like that?
Completely agree, Harry. In the recent, all the realtors, like, you know, I mean, including myself, we have to keep innovating. You know, gone are the days where we used to throw out ads on newspapers. People still do, and I wish them all the luck with it. But again, you know, it's a social media world right now. Everything is online. So you got to be smart about how you want to transition your business into something which is more cost effective, and all the money that you're putting in terms of marketing, it's actually going to get you back something. So I would strongly feel that you know, you have to go more online, go more social media, and every realtor have its own unique marketing plan. So I have a whole a small catalog that I take to all my seller clients. I sit down with them and I show it to them. This is what I would do for you to be able to sell your place, right? And all that stuff. Yeah,
that's wonderful. So friends, see, we have so many questions which we have, like Tushar is answering our questions as well. So Tushar, I would like to ask you a personal question regarding Hunny Walia shows. We have a lot of experts coming on our show. So how is our show actually benefiting you? You have been here on our show for 4 months now, and you are regular every Friday on our show. People know that Tushar is coming on Friday. That's why these questions are here, you know, coming from different viewers. So is it benefiting you, and how it is benefiting you?
Glad you asked that, Harry. Well, I'm not saying this to just make the host and the owners happy, but yes, I truly believe this is helping me build my brand in a certain community of the market.
Absolutely.
And the fact that, you know, trust me, I've had calls from Hunny Walia show, people asking me questions, people asking me, yeah, we saw your show the other day and you talked about some key terms related to real estate. So yes, I mean, truly, I honestly, whatever you know, time I'm investing into this show is truly working out for me, because I really feel that it's putting some kind of value to my business, and it's all about, Harry, building your brand. The reason we all do this is the fact that, you know, we want to pass on key information to our clients, but at the same time build a name for ourselves, and be able to get to as many clients as we can out in the market, because the whole point is we want to grow our business, and at the same time in the process help people get into their new homes, help them make the most important decision of their life, which is real estate. So I'm glad that I'm a part of Hunny Walia shows, and yeah, thank you so much, Harry.
Thank you, Tushar. Actually, that's the reason me and Hunny was talking about this, and I would like every one of you who are watching our show, if you are interested in coming on our show, maybe it's not about we have different kind of shows. Like My Thoughts is one of the show. If you want to share your thoughts, or you want to bring your business and upgrade your business, you want to talk about your small scale business and you want to grow your business, Hunny Walia show is there to help you out. So Tushar, there is another question which is from one of our clients. He's a regular client, watching our show regularly. So about the foreclosure property. So when we talk about the foreclosure properties, there are some properties which are coming in the market, maybe due to the scenario of the market, which are foreclosure properties are available in the market. What do you what kind of views you have about foreclosure?
Foreclosures, yeah, it's a different market. You got to be careful. You got to have an expert with you who would explain you the pros and cons of getting into a foreclosure deal. A lot of my clients would ask me as well, Tushar, is foreclosure really a good deal always? Well, not really. You got to be smart about it. A lot of times there are certain properties out in the market available for like 50, 60, 70K below market value. But again, if they are there at a market value or below market value, they're there for a reason. So you have to do your homework well. And foreclosures are always good. I'm not saying they're bad. It's, if you're able to come across something really good for a good price point, as long as the house is okay and it doesn't need a whole lot of work, as long as you're happy with the location and the kind of money or the effort you have to put into it, it's fine. But as I said, a lot of time what happens is when we are dealing on a resale house, something, say for example, if you're selling your house, at least we have you as somebody we can ask questions to, and we can know the whole history behind your house as to what has gone in the last few years, what kind of upgrades you have done, have you had any concerns with water penetration or foundation concerns or roof leakages and stuff. But what happens is with foreclosure, we are dealing with not one person, but we're dealing with an entity, we're dealing with a company. So we have nobody to ask questions, and a lot of times the disclosures that are done in foreclosures says clearly that it's as is, where is. So what I'm saying is, if you are getting something which is below market price, keep in mind that there's also a bit of risk involved.
Yeah, that's what it is, because I've seen in foreclosure property especially, you cannot on the water main water supply, you cannot on the lights if it is off from the main supply. So that's the problem. Like if you are viewing a property and you are not able to see whether if there is a leakage or something, because obviously as it is you have to buy the property, right?
Yes,
so
completely.
That's a huge problem, because let's say there's a property which somebody want to buy. It's a foreclosure property. You go in, but you can't check the water, you can't check the light. The main thing is there, right? Which is not, the supply is not there.
Yeah.
So at that time, what is the right step to take? Maybe a home inspector can help?
Yes, surely. So in foreclosure deals, some of the foreclosures, they would still allow for a home inspection to be conducted. But what happens is, just to recap a little bit, Harry, these foreclosures are being managed by a property management company. Now, just because the fact that I said they're owned by an entity or company, so we don't have anybody who would come by and take a look at the house just to make sure it's fine from the seller, from the company side, right? Yeah. So what they do is they have a property management company they hire in order to make sure that they go and look after the property until it's sold to a new buyer. Okay. Now, what happens is, if I'm showing it to one of my clients and we go in, we like the house, but the fact is we don't have any information on the house, or we just want to make sure that for our peace of mind we're able to just get a basic home inspection done, we have to let the property management company know in advance, and they would come before our inspection date and turn all the water lines and all the electricity and the furnace on, just to make sure we can go about conducting the basic property inspection. So that is possible, not always. In some cases it is, some cases it all depends on what the property is, how bad or how good a condition it's in, and what the property management company allows for.
So when somebody wants to view a property, what are the things that has to be kept in mind before viewing?
For somebody who's new to the whole process of home buying, when I'm accompanying them on showings, we make it a point, we ask them certain questions. Are you wanting to have your kids go to a certain school? Is there a reason you're looking to buy in this particular neighborhood? But basically, Harry, just to answer your question more accurately, I would say people typically would go and look for the area first to see what the demographics are, what kind of people, what kind of community is in that neighborhood, and what kind of schools we have close by for your kids, and amenities, rec centers, ETS, bus transit. Now that's all that stuff is of course for the location, but when it comes to inside the house, cosmetically you can change a lot of things in the house, so you should not always go by what the house looks from inside. A lot of people would make it look good from inside, but that doesn't mean it's really good in terms of the bones of the property, the structure of the property. So basically, I mean, when I do accompany my clients to these showings, I would make it a point that we go down in the mechanical room, look at how sellers are going about making sure that they're regularly servicing the furnace, the hot water tank, and how the basement concrete looks like. Maybe if you go out in the backyard to take a quick walkthrough of the property, just look at the foundation, see if you can notice any horizontal or vertical cracks in the foundation. Check for if you go up on the main floor or upstairs, you have to just look at the ceiling and make sure you don't see any patches, because that could be a sign of some kind of a leakage which would have happened in the past. So just because we do this day in and out, so yes, we've got eyes to be able to gauge into all those things which we can pass on to our clients, because a lot of people, especially the ones that are in the market for the first time, they would go into a house and they'll be overwhelmed. They'll be like, yeah, wow, this is really good. I mean, I understand homes, if they look good, most of the times they are nice, but the fact that you also have to look into all the mechanical stuff, the electrical panel downstairs, right? You have to look into the functionality of the kitchen, how practical it is with the layout they've got upstairs, right? What kind of size do you have in the bedrooms? Is it good enough to be able to fit a queen bed in the kids' bedroom, or a king size bed? So all these things is something that we would discuss with the clients when we go in, and of course if they have any questions, we're always there to answer.
Perfect. So we are adding some client testimonies because feedbacks are very important. Tushar has sold a lot of houses in the market, and definitely his listings are there. You can see his listing everywhere. So definitely just see what the client has to give feedback to Tushar, and definitely it will be an advantage for you also. So please give a call to Tushar, and his number is mentioned below.
Hello everyone, this is Tushar Bhutani with Remax Excellence. Today I am with Janan Jadani. She recently sold her house and bought a new one in the same month itself with me, and we are going to talk to her about how the whole experience was, what she really felt, how nervous she was going through selling her old place, buying a new one, and the best part was the possession day, the closing day for both the properties were on the same day. So it was a little crazy. Yes. And thanks for your patience, I really appreciate that. So yes, if you don't mind sharing your experience, how good I was and then of course how was the whole experience, right, behind kind of going through all of that.
Yes, going through all this selling and buying at the same time, especially when you've never done it before and it's the first time, you don't really know what you're doing. I have so many questions that I always have to text Tushar and bother him all the time. What do I have to do? Now I have to do this, and and it was just a very, very complicated road that I was at, but I had Tushar that, thank God, helped me out very, very well. He was very knowledgeable and always knew what he's doing, and helped me out a lot. And yes, it's not something easy to do, because we sold the house, and then at the same time we had to search for another house to buy. And yes, it was something I'd say very tough to do, especially when you're not really used to doing it all the time and not knowing what's the next step to take, and especially when you have to take possession on the same day that you actually have to get out of the house and take possession on the same day for the new house that we just bought. It's not easy, but when you got Tushar helping you out, he makes it a lot more stress-free, trust me.
Oh, appreciate that, and thank you so much for your kind words. Also, do you want to talk a little bit about, I know we in the process of course looking for a new house, when we were dealing with your bank, you had some concerns about the interest rate part, and you weren't able to get the best possible interest rates out in the market, right? Yes. And how all of that kind of played out with you.
Yes, so definitely thank you so much for that. We had a little issues with the bank because they wouldn't give, I wanted to buy a house that was well maintained. I didn't want to have to get into house and put anything into it. I wanted to just get into and start and have not to have to worry about having to sell in a couple of years and then purchase again. No, I wanted to buy something decent and something that doesn't need any work. So we ended up buying a house more than what we actually wanted to aim for at the beginning, and Tushar was able to help me out with that as well. He got me a very, very good interest rate. He helped me out. We were able to get the house that we actually wanted, and yeah, the interest rate was incredible. That's why I was happy with that too. He reached out for me and said, hey, don't worry about it, I got someone that will help us, and yeah, it was very good and stress-free.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I'm very
thank
happy
you.
that you had a great
Thanks,
experience,
Tushar, yeah.
and looking forward to working with you in the future again. And I
Yes.
really hope that you can pass on some referrals and
will,
family
for
friends.
sure. I
And
will.
wish you all the very best, Janet.
Thank you so much, Tushar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to know if you have any message for our clients.
Just be careful, guys. Just off topic from real estate, with the second wave just at our doorstep right now.
Oh, yes.
Increasingly, we're all getting concerned. We have more restrictions coming out back, like, it's out in the open. Just be careful. If you can stay home, please do. Take care of yourself and your family, and let's just, we're all in this together.
Yes.
And hopefully we can all come out of this.
Absolutely.
And then, we could be back to normal, right?
We
what
will be,
had.
definitely. Thank
Yes.
you for coming on our show, Tushar, and we'll be meeting you again on next Friday.
Yes, for sure. Thank you
Have
again.
a good day. See you. Bye-bye.